Team OTB are taking on TriAthy this June. It's all in partnership with Whoop, the personalised digital fitness and health coach that helps you unlock your inner potential. See whoop.com for more. Aisling O'Reilly, you are taking part in it, and Team OTB's number one swimmer, Adrian Barry, is also showing off his skills on today. Adrian, good morning to you.
Nice to get a bit of positive PR on a Tuesday morning. Morning, guys.
You are an amazing swimmer.
And this, I have to say, up to a few minutes ago when I turned this on, I was expecting an onslaught from Gilroy. This is quite the start to the day.
Yeah, well, that was just an introduction for you to tell us how good you are at swimming, which you haven't done yet. So go ahead.
I am on, in fairness, to defend my honour and my sporting pedigree on. After it's been torn to shreds over the last few weeks, particularly by Mr. Gilroy, it's this constant. It's a campaign almost at this point. Full pep, nearly, is what I think. He's gone full pep. Everybody's against us. The media's against us.
Why? What's he been saying? For people who didn't catch it last week, what's he been saying?
He had smack talk with you on during the week where he was saying that it's only a 250 metre swim, and he doubled down on it. Then he, the race director on Friday's PM show, and he doubled down on it there. He was like, what's this guy doing? 250 metres down swim. He'll be bobbing along like a cork. To which the race director just went, yeah, pretty much that's kind of what's going to go on. But it isn't that straightforward. I'm definitely not OTB's number one swimmer, but that's myself and Joe Malloy, obviously. And we have pedigree in this area, and you've stood up for us in the past. Myself and Joe have pedigree in this area. We took to the treacherous waters of whatever it is down that part of the world, is St. George's Channel, to swim. I think it was like 4.5 kilometres at that time. Something roughly around those kind of measurements.
You're doing the swim as well, Aisling?
I am, yeah.
Just the swim?
No. I'm doing the full triathlon,
thing.
Yeah.
So how easy is it to do what Adrian is doing?
Well, it actually isn't that easy. I was a bit naive. I got into the pool probably about 2 weeks ago now for the first time in years. Other times that I've been in, I might have just did a breaststroke, didn't really do too much. But actually getting in and knowing that I have to, be able to complete a certain amount of laps in a certain amount of time, or, wow, I did 2 lengths and I stopped. I was like, oh God, right. This is actually pretty tough, because it doesn't matter how fit you are, it's the breathing. You have to have that breathing technique, and if you don't have that, you can't breathe, so you can't complete the lengths. And obviously your arms as well, it's a different type of fitness, so I was finding that tough. So it is tough, but I'm a few weeks in now to practicing my swimming, and if Adrian says that he is an elite swimmer, that he says he is, then I just don't understand then how you can't get out and get on the bike. For what do we have, 20 kilometres on the bike then?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's very possible.
Adrian, the campaign of slander continues.
It continues. The reasons for that will all become obvious, but I can't do the run for sure, Aisling. That's one thing that is definitely, I sort of bullheadedly thought I can do that thing. What distance is the run?
The 4K.
4K, I thought I could definitely do that. And I've had long consultations with my S&C team over the last few weeks, Aisling, and they're just really advising me against it. So my treatment is ongoing. The road to recovery is long, but it is a road that I'm only going one direction on. I had acupuncture actually in my knees last week, which was a new experience for me.
What was that like?
It was a bit weird on, yeah. I had it a couple of weeks previously where he just put sort of 2 needles in, and I was like, I got a bit too cocky with it. I was like, I didn't even feel that. That was cool. It's hard to know like exactly how much benefit you get out of it. But he was like, all right, cool. And then he put in 7 needles, and I could feel plenty of them.
Oh, and what's the issue? What's the problem with your knee? Old age?
Patellar tendinopathy.
Oh, okay.
Which basically means that the tendon that links your shin bone to your knee, in my case, it's chronic and it's very badly frayed. And that's the bad news. And I haven't touched it for like 15 or 20 years, knowing there was something up. And then just recently it was like, oh God, I can't ignore this anymore. Went to get it seen to, got it diagnosed. And it's the good news, it's all fixable. So, but it just takes... There's about an hour of a routine that you have to do every second day, and it is tedious and it's hard. And for somebody who is lacking in any basic fitness, like myself, it is an absolute
Why are you
torture.
laughing on? I'm sorry, Adrian.
I'm just saying to anybody who woke up this morning and who was hoping for some good quality sports radio content, you are welcome.
No, I feel bad now. I'm calling him out. That sounds really tough. Yeah, fair, absolutely. Yeah.
Very, very bad.
And for you're the only one giving me any sympathy here. It is a torture, but like, look, I don't want to be, like Owen said, sort of bringing people down on a Tuesday morning. That's what it is. I just get on with it. That's the sort of athlete I am. I don't sort of moan about it. I ask the question, I try to answer it honestly on,
Yeah, fair play. So TriAthy, I assume we're going to have plenty more updates as the weeks go on. It's all in partnership with Whoop, the personalised digital fitness and health coach that helps you unlock your inner potential. See whoop.com for more. We actually had the both of you on to preview the Leinster football final until results turned the other way at the weekend, so it's disappointing it's not going to be Meath against Westmeath in this year's final. Adrian, I might just kick this off with you. At the start, you were at Croke Park on Sunday. I think there's been a lot said about the atmosphere that was in the stadium. Were you similarly in the demise of the whole thing?
Not really, to be honest. I was there, I brought the two kids along, 5-year-old and 3-year-old, and I met up with a couple of mates and they had their kids. And we got good seats. You had to wait a little bit earlier in the week. If you were well planned out and you were getting your tickets early in the week, it seemed like they were probably up in the corners. Like I know Anthony was on yesterday talking about the Davin stand, and it seemed like maybe earlier in the week that's where they were. But I held off in the hope that they'd sell out those segments and start moving it back around, which they did. And so we ended up sort of about 2/3 of the way up in the Cusack stand. It's all that side that they sell kids tickets for and concession tickets. So it will be along there. You won't ever get tickets, I don't think, anyway, for the Hogan stand with kids. So that was it on that side. And then, I know that obviously he was talking about the lack of chips and all that stuff. We had plenty of chips, I have to say. Maybe we filled our boots too much and left Moisey a bit short. But and then the other thing was just about the atmosphere. Like, look, it is a weird one. And, if I was going there with my mates, I probably would have had a slightly different experience. Like, the kids that I was with couldn't care less if that stadium was full or there was 10,000. And that's not a barometer of anything other than to say it definitely didn't affect the kids' enjoyment of it, because it didn't matter to them. Like, the top tier in the Hogan is not sold out. They don't care about that. There's like tens of thousands. As far as they're concerned, there is an unbelievable throng of people the size of which they've never seen before. Tens of thousands of people around them, and they enjoyed it so much as a 5 and a 3-year-old do. They're obviously only sort of half interested in the game, and we were all obviously cheering on Westmeath in the first game. And we were obviously just within a kick of Kildare. Owen, is that how we want to analyse that game? Mm-hmm. And then I obviously the two of them are dubs, so they enjoyed the second. Well, we left at half time the second game because I felt that having knocked a game and a half out of it with a 5 and a 3-year-old was doing really well. Cut our losses, and also the game is over.
Yeah, it's fair. It's just interesting that you were just having a go at me for leaving early there last week on the show, but that's okay. Even the best people do it. Aisling, I know you were up at Monaghan Derry, so you probably didn't get a chance to watch the full Meath game back. I'm sure you will get around to doing that at some point to try and enjoy those 70 minutes. Yeah,
I was watching highlights yesterday, and it was just so dead. I don't know why it was in Croke Park in the first place. I think more should have been done about that. They should have put up a bit more of a fight. It probably would have added to it all, because I think Meath, from the minute the ball was thrown in, they just had no fight, no hunger. It was just so disappointing. They were bet before it started, it seemed. And I think a lot of questions now are going to be asked of where we are, because before this, I suppose you had that bit of hope. I was doing the Vox Pop, I was out meeting the fans, and there was some that had a bit of hope that, they might run them close, or, this is the time. If there's a time to beat Dublin, it's now. Obviously, we've seen that it's not the time to beat Dublin, because they, as we heard yesterday, they haven't gone anywhere. But it was just so disappointing on the Meath front. And we have the players. Like, we do have such talent within Meath. It's just the cohesiveness and not playing as one, it seems to be an issue. I don't know who's to blame. It just feels that we're going around in circles for 10 years now. We're craving these big days, even one big result, big moment, but we just haven't had it. So it's you're just in limbo as to where we go from here.
The qualifier draw as well, it's hard to see a draw that would be favourable for me, just given the fact that there won't be any gimmies because of the Tailteann Cup, which I assume, Adrian, just before we let you go, is something that you're favouring Westmeath to win.
I wouldn't favour them to win. Like, they obviously, the early goal against Kildare, like, you went in with no expectation at all, and suddenly you're like, hang on a second here, because there's probably not going to be a huge amount between them at the end of the game, and you got a bit excited about it. But like, I felt that Westmeath were naive in so many ways. They were, in a way that, like, even there will be good teams in the Tailteann Cup that will threaten stuff. Like, they weren't. Every Westmeath kick-out was a 50-50 ball. They were not able to secure their own ball, and every Kildare kick-out was clean to a Kildare player. Now, that's not something that takes a huge amount of skill. So I don't understand why there was a shortcoming on that side. And if they had tightened up a few bits and pieces like that, they might have run it close. I also felt that maybe Kildare And I hope for their sake that they were playing a bit within themselves, because if Kildare play the way they played against Westmeath, Dublin will do what they did to Meath. But yeah, in terms of the Tailteann Cup, they'll give it a good run. I expect them to be in the last four of it probably. They should certainly be have that expectation, and on a good day could easily win it. Yeah,
they're certainly going after it anyway. Dara's been in touch to say Adrian Barry is never more excited than about mentioning his many ailments, which is very, very true. I'm excited as well. The excitement is contagious. Adrian, take care of that knee. We'll chat to you soon.
Cheers.